and it puts out 44 volts. And here it is now. It's all electric. All of this electric stuff comes from China and is very reasonably priced. Runs on kerosene or jet fuel, the same as standard jet. And reach speeds. This one can reach speeds of up to 280 kilometres an hour.
Where you going?
And for a bit of effect, they put smoke out, which is actually a bit of old oil. The steward says, now listen for the afters then. Yes, actually Ken's an experienced pilot. He did a little bounce, but he knew to put a little bit of power on just to make it fly again and then ease it off. So he ended up doing quite well. Here we go with the jet, pouring out a bit of smoke at the top and a little bit of a stall at the top. Deliberate.
Up until his drop, he's going to be doing a level 2.5 drop, so it'll spring it out a little bit. He'll be coming in at about 120 knots, which is the normal speed. 3,000 litres of water will go down onto the fire, and with a bit of luck we'll stem it right there and then.
Thank you, John. This is we now welcome the Roulettes, ladies and gentlemen. R7 joining us this morning, Sean Osborne. Sean, welcome, sir.
Good day everyone, here at the position towards the crowd, and turn tightly to the left in the steep turn. During the steep turn here, each pilot pulls about 4 Gs, giving them an apparent weight of about 400 kilos in the cockpit. You'll note the smoke trailing from the aircraft. This is achieved by spraying a mineral oil directly into the aircraft's exhaust system, where it's vaporised. The aircraft during the steep turn are maintaining the VIG formation position. Each of the positions is named after the shape it resembles, so you'll see the V the aircraft are making there, hence the VIG name given to the formation.
Awesome sauce.
I don't know if it's a table or
Roll inverted. So basically, to maintain inverted straight and level, the pilot holds -1 G. And if you now look to your right again, you'll see Roulettes.
Catch up, son.
The aircraft you're seeing today are Pilatus PC-9s. They're Swiss designed and Australian built. The PC-9 is capable of speeds up to 600 kilometres an hour at sea level, and also capable of pulling up to +7 G. So +7 G, most pilots would feel an apparent weight of about 700 kilos, and it's quite hard physical work on the body. And after a display like this, we call this rollbacks. The Roulettes conduct about 60 shows a year, travelling all over Australia. And have your cameras ready now. All to the vertical. And watch at the top how Steve will purposely put the aircraft into uncontrolled flight and then recover at the bottom.
So Sean, we're on to now the single display with R6 right now, as you said. Steve English is up there?
Yeah, that's right. So Steve English, his background obviously a flying instructor. So basically after pilot's course he flew the J model Hercules out of Rough Base Richmond, and then returned to CFS to become a flying instructor prior to teaching students over in Western Australia. obviously now on return to ESAIL at Central Flying School. He did a couple of months teaching prior to joining the Roulettes.
Now, I was very fortunate enough last year over Clipsal 500 to go up with Bernie R6, the former R6, and I don't think you really appreciate how much effort goes into flying one of these things until you've been in it. As you said, the gravity is about a G, you're talking about 6 Gs, maybe 7 Gs, and you've got a special pressurised suit inside that. How does that actually work inside the plane?
Yeah, that's right. So to sustain basically the G-forces, the pilots wear a G-suit, which is effectively just a tight set of pants you wear around. And it's designed to inflate around your abdomen as the aircraft pulls G, and it's basically just trying to keep all the blood in your upper body to help you fight the effects of the G-forces. And during a display like this, as I said earlier, they're definitely working up a sweat. It's equivalent to going to the gym for an hour.
Now, one of the best bits of advice I got, Sean, was that you eat bananas before you fly because it tastes the same going down as it does coming up. And I can tell you right now, it is hard to try and throw up in the back of a plane, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. There's the old banana line, that's one we usually give to the passengers, but yeah, there's definitely not a lot of space in the back there, or in fact in the front. It's quite a tight-fitting cockpit, and you're wearing about 12 kilos worth of life support gear around you, including a helmet and oxygen mask. Also, it's quite hot in the cockpit now, and especially when they're pulling aerobatics, definitely working up a sweat.
That was the most amazing thing I noticed, Sean, when I went up last year, is that when you taxi out and you take off, you instantly sweat. Your body just instantly perspires. Why does it do that?
Yeah, look, it's just a lot of gear you're wearing, and the cockpit's quite tight and cramped, and until you actually get airborne, the aircon's not quite as effective on the ground as it is airborne. So you'll see Steve now putting the aircraft through its paces. And when you're watching the display today, just remember it's not just the pilots. We also have a team of mechanics who travel around Australia with us, helping to maintain the aircraft and keep them in good flying condition. And also just a special hello to the children of the chief engineer of the TASPO, which is effectively the unit that's patrolling all around Australia, and they usually drive around following the team around. And just watch now as Steve does a slow loop, so basically at 140 knots and maximum power, and just note how tight the aircraft's actually turning. And he'll depart overhead from this and watch as he rocks his wings, saying goodbye to the crowd. And once he departs, the rest of the Roulettes will come over for a combat push-out. So if you now look to your right, you'll see them, and watch now as they pull up and break away from each other and effectively chase each other around the skies with about 200 metres spacing between aircraft. And also watch from behind as Steve comes back and tries to catch up with the other guys.
What's amazing too, Sean, last year when I went up in the back seat of these things, is that the whole time the pilot picks a point and he does not stop looking at that point the whole way through.
Yeah, exactly. So the way the aircraft, the pilots fly formation is they line up visual reference cues on the leader's aircraft, and they're constantly making power and control inputs to stay in the same position. So formation's more of an art rather than a science. It's basically just about looking at the leader's aircraft, lining up those cues, and just fighting to stay in position. And you'll see here, basically, they're all at max power, and they're all just using geometry to try to maintain constant spacing. And while one of their easier manoeuvres is probably the most fun as well, and yeah, just chasing each other around the skies, it's great fun. If anyone would like to hear more about the Roulettes or see where we're next displaying, or a chance to chat to us, we have a Facebook page, so just search for Air Force Roulettes on Facebook, and we'll be happy to answer any questions back to the pilots if you want to answer any questions on the page. And you'll see now Cole positioning the remainder of the team for the final pass. And give a round of applause to the Roulettes.
Sean, thank you so much for your time as well. R7, thank you very much indeed. And to the Roulettes, let's hear it one more time, folks. Big round of applause. They really are an extraordinary bunch of gentlemen. on the extra 300S. Of course, the 2011 Australian Aerobatic and Freestyle Champion. To give you an idea, Paul would fill somewhere between 4 to 6 times his body weight, somewhere between 30 to 40 times in that 4-minute. Hope you're by now having a little bit of lunch. Make sure you try one of the delicious Charles Melton wines from Charles Melton, crafted to reflect the rhythm of the seasons, the richness of our earth, and the quiet patience of it. Here she is. Absolutely love this plane.
Oh God.
Sorry, back over again. Not sure who's up there today, whether it's Wayne Pearce or David Forsyth. Majority of these were based in Florida. Just such a graceful thinker, Chris Sperou. Just when you think he's about to hit the deck, this man is incredible. The fittest 300-year-old man I've ever met. Every weekend, just outside of Murray Bridge, performing and practicing his amazing aerobatics. So to give you an idea of this man, Chris is in his 70s, born in 1938 in Sajuna. Finally, I say this with respect, but I don't know too many pensioners that can be pulling 6 Gs like this. He is absolutely amazing. Chris Sperou has won the Australian Aerobatic Championships 13 times, has flown in 5 World Aerobatic Championships, and originally was a professional fisherman. As we saw with Paul Andronic, who is sponsored by Asset Insure, Chris sponsored by QBE, and the Barossa Airshow. But he quite seriously is amazing. And the name coming from the designer, Curtis Pitts. This plane was first originally designed back in 1944. So the actual design of the plane is younger than Chris. I'm glad he can't hear me. Of course, this being a modified version. And it's actually this type of plane that actually dominates the world aerobatic competitions. Up until only just recently. And even today remains a potent competitor in the lower categories. Opportunity to get these Tiger Moths as they fly just 500 feet off the deck. Being a tail dragging biplane, it's quite unique back in its day. But not all have skids, some actually have the wheels.
The Tiger Moths come back to land, or are they struggling off?
So the Tiger Moths heading back home, the grey one you would have seen, they actually have the Rowland Flat Air Force marking, and the green one in the camouflage was actually the colour that the British Royal Air Force would use. Getting ready now for the Adelaide Warbirds to take off to the skies. So the Warbirds just taking off right now. They're just going to do a couple of orbits and then they'll come back to do some barrel rolls and other displays we'll see. As you can see though at the moment is Tony Blair, no, not the former Prime Minister of the United Kingdom. This plane that you see now with Tony flying in the skies right now, he imported this back in 2007. It is of course the Rebel 300. It's an unlimited aerobatic aircraft in the United States and Australia. And Tony now is currently the Executive Officer of the BFTS in Tamworth. It was only February of last year that Tony actually made his first promotional and international air show.
And Tom Mountain flying the other. Tom's nearest to us with the red nose Chang, and Wilco's 05 off on the right. Nanchang, he's actually a C-17 technician based up in Amberley, and for him, you know, although these guys are all commercial pilots, it's really just a hobby, this kind of thing, and they love displaying, showing their aircraft off to the crowd. We've got line abreast formation coming past us now. Looks easy, but it actually takes a lot of practice, a lot of training to be able to fly these aircraft like this. We've got this similar aircraft too. The Yak in the front is actually slower. It rolls and climbs faster than the Changs, but it's a slower aircraft, so it takes the lead. The other two have to. As I come back in from crowd right, still got the Yak in the front. The Yak's a Russian designed aircraft. These are all Eastern Bloc. The Yak's Russian, the other two, the Nanchangs, are Chinese. Full rugged aircraft, designed as trainers, and built to operate out of fields just like you see in front of you. Grass fields, minimal support, and all quite happy to operate, you know, away from their base, out of a grass field, just a few maintainers. Tom holding quite close, tight formation on him. And we'll go bring up the rear. There we are, a pitch into the circuit from this one right. Pretty standard manoeuvre for a formation. Come into the circuit in formation. And what we'd say, I suppose, unkindly, a bit blunter of an aeroplane than the Nanchang. Look at Tom coming past now in the Chang. You see it's just a bit sleeker lined aircraft. So in the cruise, the Nanchang will outperform the Yak every day, but in terms of aerobatic performance, the Yak will roll faster, climb faster.
There's, of course, an international charity with a local group here in the Barossa. So if you see Flossie, make sure you go give her a big cuddle.
Thank you. Papa. Tim?
Now this aircraft, here he is demonstrating a slow roll to invert it in the half roll baggage. It can really show how this airfield stands out quite clearly.
Now, is he doing the same as what the Roulettes would do when they're pushing oil into the manifold?
Yep, this is exactly the same system, but being a radial engine, we spray oil into the exhaust system, same thing. And of course, the one thing that this aeroplane does have is, being a radial engine, it sounds fantastic.
It's also a different landing gear, isn't it, compared to most conventional planes where it retracts more so forwards rather than backwards?
Yes, it is, and it doesn't. If you actually look at it next time it flies past, you see that it doesn't fully retract inside the aeroplane. And one of the reasons for that is that having undercarriages that retract inside the aeroplane takes a lot of weight. And the whole purpose of this thing was to design a minimum aeroplane. And the other advantage is that if for whatever reason we can't get the wheels down, it will quite happily land like it is and do very little damage to the aeroplane.
Keep forgetting that that's Dave.
Good reason why he owns one and we don't.